Welcome to the JCPS MTSS training on the Feedback Toolkit with a focus on the high-yield practice opportunities to respond. I'm Stephanie Roberts, an MTSS engagement resource teacher with Elementary Zone 1.
Hi, I'm April Bemker, MTSS engagement resource teacher with the Accelerated Improvement Schools, working with middle and high schools.
Please take a moment to type the case-sensitive bit.ly into your web browser. This will allow you access to the links for the activities offered throughout this presentation. Here you will see the 6 components that make up the MTSS department or multi-tiered systems of support. MTSS focuses on overall school improvement by aligning resources and support for both teachers and students. We provide multiple levels of support for learners that address academic, social, emotional, and behavioral needs, and produce professional development that is aligned with schools and the district as a whole. JCPS has 4 departments within MTSS, as shown on this concept map. MTSS Academics, directed by Donna Lawson, supports schools by ensuring teachers are providing all students with academic supports with a focus on Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention and support. The MTSS Behavior Department is directed by Sandra Hensel. They support implementing school-wide behavior systems and frameworks, including Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, PBIS, and the Behavior Support Systems Model, which is an alignment of PBIS and restorative practices. The MTSS Re-Engagement Department is directed by Dr. Naomi Brahim. They support students who are transitioning back to their home schools from Minor Daniels Academy and Breckenridge Metropolitan. Our department is the MTSS Engagement Department. We are directed by Dr. Naomi Brahim. The goal of this department is to increase student achievement by equipping teachers with high-yield pedagogical practices to maximize student engagement. There are 6 MTSS toolkits that were created to provide resources for Tier 1 instructional practices that increase student engagement, reduce student behaviors, and decrease disproportionality. These are the 6 MTSS toolkits. By clicking the toolkit image, you will access the MTSS department webpage as well as each toolkit. Today, we're going to take a dive into the high-yield instructional practice of opportunities to respond, or OTR. An OTR is the interaction between a teacher's academic prompt and a student's response. The teacher asks a question or gives a prompt, and the student or students respond. The student response then allows the teacher to not only formatively assess student learning, but also provide specific feedback to the student. OTRs are a way for students to engage with formal and informal just-in-time formative assessments by asking higher order questions to provide feedback to students. OTRs blend formative assessment, questioning, and feedback in a task. It's important for teachers to seek feedback from students as to what they know, understand, and where they have misconceptions. Then the teaching and learning is most powerful. Successful implementation of this instructional practice is observed when teachers are providing frequent, purposeful, and intentional OTRs through a variety of student responses. OTRs help drive student-centered learning by facilitating individual, peer-to-peer, and whole group cognitive engagement through verbal, nonverbal, and written responses. As mentioned on the previous slide, purposeful and intentional OTRs blend questioning, self-assessment, formative assessment, and feedback. Within this session, we will develop a deeper understanding of the different types of opportunities to respond. The success criteria will be to reflect on the benefits of using opportunities to respond in the classroom and to identify OTRs to integrate into instruction in order to accelerate student learning. When accelerating learning, there are key components to an accelerated lesson. Using OTRs in a purposeful manner throughout the lesson to engage students. Check for student understanding, formatively assess, and adjust instruction as needed. These components include generate thinking and purpose, clearly communicate learning goals, using just-in-time scaffolds and practicing essential skills, digging into the new concept, and conducting formative assessment frequently. When looking through the lens of acceleration, needed skills are determined based on grade level standards and are applied immediately during instruction. Relevance is a critical piece to the motivation and memory. When accelerating learning, the use of OTRs helps to provide for an active, fast-paced, hands-on approach to learning for forward movement. OTRs increase student engagement. They are an avenue to help students apply new skills taught just in time, and they are a way to facilitate making connections to prior knowledge. All of these actions are essential to acceleration over remediation so students learn on time with their peers. As you can see, OTRs are a powerful practice when planning for acceleration within your core instruction.
Check out this brief video and note the intentionality of the different response strategies being implemented.
9 times 15. So once you have a strategy or you think you got an answer, thumbs chest. If you're still thinking, I want you to have your thinkers on. Okay? So no hands up, just thumb to chest once you got it. So you should be thinking right now if you're thinking about a strategy. Thinking? Right. Raise your hand if you think you know the answer. Aiden R. 125. So if you agree with Aiden's answer, how do you show me if you agree? If you respectfully disagree. Okay. Mariah, what did you get? Okay. Agree or disagree? Okay, I see some agrees. See anybody else got a different answer? We got 125, 135. Anything else? 140? Okay, so we're going to work on defending our answers. So if you said 125, what strategy did you use to get that? You said 140, how'd you get there? 135, how'd you get there? I want you to turn and talk real quick to share your strategy with someone before we share it together. Okay? Go. tell us what you, that's amazing that you caught your own mistake. Tell me what you think you did.
Because I only added 30 instead of 40.
Ooh, okay. So where's that at? What should I change? Tell me what you think I should change.
The 2, 2, and 3.
So right here you said, okay, I did 0 plus 5 is 5. 9 plus 4 is what?
30.
So this should change. I'm gonna change it different. To what?
30.
Okay. So you're thinking it's 135 now, right? Okay. I love that you caught your mistake. That's amazing. Who got? Anybody else get 125? No. Who got 140?
No.
You want to defend your answer? Good job. All right. What about 135? Go ahead.
What I did was an area model, and
Okay.
I did.
So you did area model?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I drew my box, and I put my times and efficiency, and I drew a line, and I put 10, no, like, 10, right there,
10. Okay.
and then 5,
Okay.
times 9.
Okay.
That's 9 times 10 is 90.
9 times 10 is 90. Okay.
And 9 times 5 is 25.
Okay.
And I added those up and I got 150.
Got one more strategy? Ronald. Okay, you did partial products. CSC. Alright, tell me what you got.
So I did 9 times 10,
Okay.
and then 9 times 5, and then I added them up and then I got 130.
9 times 5. Now, partial products usually looks like this. So. Alright, anything else? No. Oh my goodness. Any other strategy? You got one? Okay, quickly. Repeated addition. Alright, I'm gonna actually write that up here. So, what do you mean by repeated addition? What do you do?
So I added 15 plus 15, and it equals 30.
Okay.
And I added 15 plus 15, and then that one equals 30. And I added the 30 top,
Okay.
and it equals 6. And then I did 5 times 15.
5 times 15. Okay, what'd you get?
75.
Okay.
And I added 60 to 75.
Okay, what'd you get?
I got 235.
235? 135. That's interesting. I haven't seen that before. That's nice. I like that. All right. Very nice job today. I love how, I want to shout out Aiden R. I love how you caught your mistakes and you fixed it right away. That was great.
Shout!
3, 2, 1.
Shout!
Nice job. All right.
By giving a chance for multiple responses, students are retrieving, rehearsing, and practicing what has been taught. All reasons why students benefit from opportunities to respond. In this video, you saw multiple OTRs with a variation of types, including hand signals for thinking and having a solution, hand signals for agree or disagree, annotation of strategies with student names, turn and talk opportunities after posing a high order question, and they synthesize learning by using turn and talk to discuss which strategy is most interesting or they would like to learn more about. Why is it important to provide students with multiple opportunities to respond? OTRs allow teachers to cognitively engage students, ask questions to scaffold learning, formatively assess for understanding, clarify misconceptions, celebrate student successes, and elicit feedback, while students engage in purposeful talk, are given opportunities to productively struggle, demonstrate learning in many different ways, while providing feedback to peers and teachers, all of which is essential to accelerating student learning. If teachers are gaining this information and students are able to have these benefits, just think about the decrease in off-task and disruptive behaviors. Take a moment to think about the opportunities to respond you give your students during a typical lesson. Do you intentionally plan and implement various types of OTRs that inform and guide in the moment instruction? Do you use high cognitive questions and tasks? Do you create opportunities for students to reflect on feedback? Pause the video for a minute to jot down some notes on your personal reflection. This activity is an example of a written opportunity to respond. When having students reflect in the classroom, one way to have students share is to conduct a think, ink, pair, share. Students will first write an individual response after having time to think. Then they will take turns sharing with a partner, followed by some form of whole group share out. Think, ink, pair, share is both a written and verbal opportunity to respond. So if you were using this activity in the classroom, you could do it as a think, ink, pair, share. The questions you just reflected on encompass what just-in-time acceleration with OTRs looks like. It involves teaching to the level and rigor of grade level standards. It requires us to plan using questioning techniques connected to these grade level standards and pre-plan scaffolds for essential skills, having tools and representations ready. Utilizing a variety of types of OTRs will help you with this process and will facilitate just-in-time formative assessment during core instruction, which will help provide you with specific, immediate feedback and allow you to adjust instruction when needed. It's important to also consistently provide high-quality feedback to students that is aligned to the task and standard. There is a process that helps with successful implementation of OTRs. For any OTR, after asking the question or giving the prompt, one important step is to allow for sufficient wait time. The rule of thumb is to allow 3 to 5 seconds, but more may be needed depending on the complexity of the required response. Other important steps in the process include providing a cue for response and providing feedback to the student or students. There are some additional steps to facilitate peer-to-peer or small group interactions. It is important to model this process with your students in order for OTRs to be effective and successful. Modeling can be most effective when used with non-academic content first to build community and relationships.
We're going to take a look at the 3 types of responses we can get from students when giving them opportunities to respond. First are verbal strategies. This is when we want students to respond orally to the prompt or question. Notice here we have provided some examples of verbal OTRs to get you thinking for both in-person and virtual learning. Looking at ideas for in-person, find someone who is similar to a scavenger hunt, where students walk around asking each other content-based questions. Notice and wonder allows students to share their thoughts by noticing and wondering about a situation or task before answering and solving it. For more information, there are videos linked for both Find Someone Who and Notice and Wonder. Virtually, you can have students physically raise their hand or use the raise hand option on your meeting platform for students to verbalize answers to your prompt or question. An example of a cooperative learning Kagan structure that could be used is stand and share. This is a verbal sharing of ideas generated based on the prompt or question given. Nonverbal strategies have every student actively responding by using a signal, card, or movement to respond to the prompt or question. Among the examples we have provided for you for in-person learning are four corners and hand signals. For example, those used in number sense routines. In four corners, students are given four answer choices, each designated to one corner. The students signal their answer by moving to the corner they choose for the answer. Notice that four corners can also be done in a virtual learning setting. The image shown here is a Jamboard template that offers a way to place four answers in each corner. The students simply put their name on a sticky note and place it in the corresponding corner. Another option that involves movement is hand signals. Students use their hands to signal where they are in a thought process during instruction. Article coding is also a nonverbal OTR where students can code or annotate a text read to demonstrate their learning. Here you would base the codes and meaning on the alignment with the standard you are teaching. Written opportunities to respond are the third way to get student responses. This is where students would be responsible to write their thoughts and answers based on the prompt or question. Some in-person examples include graffiti wall and jot thoughts. Graffiti wall operates like a silent conversation where the students respond their answers on chart paper, and then their peers respond to how they answered the prompt or question by giving them feedback. For jot thoughts, students get a set of Post-its and are asked within a given time limit to come up with as many ideas as possible to the prompt or question. For the virtual learning environment, graffiti wall and jot thoughts, for that matter, can both be used within Jamboard and the sticky notes. Notice the image of the completed graffiti wall where the three students posed their initial answer to the question and then gave their peers feedback. Jot thoughts would work similarly in that they would use the interactive sticky notes to come up with as many ideas as possible. Listen Write is another written OTR that can be done in both learning environments. After the teacher has conducted a mini lesson, the students write their key points and then share with partners. The teacher then reviews key points, the partners celebrate, and the process continues as the teacher chunks the content during instruction. When planning for any of these opportunities to respond, remember it is best to introduce a new engagement strategy with non-academic content to model and let the students explore the strategy in order to better understand how it works prior to using content. Here we have provided you with some additional OTR examples for both English language arts and math. Many of these can also be used in other content areas. Please click the underlined words that link to videos and/or directions to get more information. When using the frameworks for unit planning, it is important to plan frequent, intentional, and purposeful OTRs for just-in-time formative assessment, while incorporating the practices of questioning, scaffolding, and giving specific feedback. Take a moment to reflect on how pre-planning for this high-yield practice will impact your instruction.
In any classroom, the teacher should be aware of certain considerations regarding the environment or learning community that they are helping to create. Knowing the backgrounds or cultural norms for students within the classroom will lead to more engaging and effective instructional practice. Research we discussed earlier reinforced the use of a variety of purposeful, intentional opportunities to respond, to engage students, and aid in acceleration of learning. But they also are essential to having a culturally responsive classroom. Giving students opportunities to respond, especially with dialogue, validating their contributions, and providing them with feedback helps to remove barriers and move learning forward. In classrooms where ECE students are present, use of opportunities to respond with your students should occur more often based upon the needs of the learners there. Planning for and providing multiple means of engagement, especially OTRs, coupled with feedback, is one means to accelerate learning. Using OTRs to formatively assess and adjust instruction or provide additional support and scaffolds where needed is a cornerstone to quality instruction with all students, but especially ECE students. When considering project-based learning, feedback is critical to student success, both from the teacher to the student and from the student to the teacher. Opportunities to respond is one tool that can be used to gather feedback and to identify areas where structured supports and explicit instruction are needed. Incorporating OTRs with deeper learning and PBLs will help you to engage students and accelerate learning. To end on a somewhat funny note, but with a serious message, we need to consider opportunities to respond for accelerating students during our instruction. Using opportunities to respond can help us to avoid having a classroom situation similar to the one pictured in this comic. We have provided you with some additional OTR examples for both in-person and virtual instruction. The underlying words can be clicked on to lead you to links for videos and/or directions for more information. Please refer to this slide for references you might need. If you would like more information about the MTSS toolkits and other high-yield practices, please visit our department website. Thank you for attending our session about opportunities to respond. Have a great day.